You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Dancing with the Stars After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Dancing with the Stars After Show.
All right, you guys, welcome. We are so excited because Bing is for doing, and we are here doing Dancing with the Stars All-Stars. Now, this is going to be week 1. It is season 15, which is hard to believe. I'm Kristyn Burtt, and we are kicking it off for the brand new season. And let me introduce my co-host for the evening. We've got Suri Serano right over here.
Hi, everybody.
And you'll be giving us all the inside scoop because you'll be at the shows throughout the entire season. So we're excited about that.
So excited.
And our special guest tonight, we have Karl Walden, who is a dancer and choreographer.
Yes,
Amazing.
thank you for having me.
I know, we're going to have your expertise tonight. Now, I'm so excited that we're here because, you know, this is the first time they've done an all-star season. You have the inside scoop. We've all watched the show, so we have a lot of insight to give everyone and a lot of thoughts and opinions. So let's get right to it.
Yeah.
And kick it off with our first few dances. We'll talk about sort of the first half, and we'll get right into it because we've got 13 dances to go through.
So much content.
So much.
Let's go.
So kicking off the night was Joey Fatone and Kim Johnson, and they were doing the cha-cha-cha.
That's right.
Yeah.
Love Joey.
Love Joey. Great energy, great way to start the show, I think, just sort of kick off the whole season. And, you know, he was always known for his great energy. What were your initial thoughts?
Well, I think it was a perfect choice to have them start off the show because,
Absolutely.
you know, they are kind of known as the comedian couple and, you know, the comedians and having a blast. And he's such a showman. It's obvious, you know, and pretty strong contender. So I think that's why they went with them, #1.
And I always wonder, and maybe we can get this scoop, or maybe you got it on Monday, how they decide the order of, you know, the dances. I mean, I'm sure that they see them all while they're rehearsing and then sort of put them in a certain order, but I'd love to know that. So maybe we can find that out in the next few weeks.
I will find that out, but pretty much, yeah, you're going to have, you know, bookended some pretty strong performances. You go in with a bang, go out with a bang.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And Karl, what were your initial thoughts on Joey and Kim kicking off the night?
I thought they had good energy and some showmanship, but their content of the dance itself wasn't as strong as the other ones. I just think his dance vocabulary is quite limited and his facility is limited. But I think it was, like Suri said, it was a great number to start off with, and they definitely didn't belong in the middle, but it was a nice little kickoff to the show.
I wanted to add, Joey was extraordinarily nervous starting out, #1. I spoke to him after, and he was like, I didn't know if I wanted to throw up. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know, like, it was, what am I going to do? I'm just going to do it. I don't know.
That's really cute. And you have to remember, like, the show is live for the East Coast. We watch it taped here on the West Coast. So, you know, it's really nerve-wracking for them. And a lot of them have taken a layoff. Maybe they're not working out as much. And now they're coming back to dance. And how long have they had to prepare? Was it 4 weeks?
Yes. Well, you're supposed to have 4
You're
weeks.
supposed
We'll
to.
get to that in a
Yeah,
minute.
we do have a story about that.
It's 4 weeks, and it's a lot of training. And Joey just came off of Dancing with the Stars, the show in Vegas. And I also asked him the other night if that helped him, you know, prepare. And he said with stamina, yes, but in every other way, no. You know, the choreography, the technique, making sure everything was in its perfect place, it didn't help him at all, he said.
It has to be more precise for the show versus, I'm sure, that the Las Vegas entertainment variety show that they get to do. I wrote showman myself, so there you go. They're on my notes. But they came away with a score of 20.5, so
respectable.
Very respectable to kick it off.
And they're going to judge harder the first few couples.
And we're going to see this, and I think we had talked a little bit about this before we went on air. Our next couple, Shawn Johnson, the Olympic gold medalist from Beijing in 2008, and Derek Huff. They did the foxtrot, and remember, Shawn Johnson was the winner a while back. So, and she's got her runner-up competitor here, too. I love that.
I love this couple.
Me
and
too.
I think that she was underscored.
Absolutely.
And, you know, we haven't seen the best from her yet. I have so much to say about her. She's come into her own. She's so different from 4 years ago. And we both have gymnastics backgrounds as well, so we kind of know a little bit about Shawn. And Derek's amazing. But, you know, amazing. I think I really picked them to go to the end.
I think
all the way.
their main thing is going to be Derek almost holding back his performance. Sometimes he can get a little out of the box and be too much about himself and showing off his abilities rather than making his partner look amazing, as is his job. But I absolutely think they were underscored. It was a great routine. Everything was spot on. Shawn looked amazing. Everything from performance to her vocabulary and her foot action was great.
Don't you feel her dance ability is better?
It's way better.
It's
way
like
better
she's been
than when-
performing for years.
Yeah.
As a dancer.
Dancer.
That's what I thought.
Way better than when she was a gymnast, which
Absolutely.
is amazing.
Well, yeah, that's totally different.
She has way
But-
more grace than she ever has before.
For sure, but you can see it as a dancer. You can see it in her core, the way she's carrying herself, right?
Right.
It's totally different, and it's strong.
And she's also more fit than she was on the show several years ago because she had come off of the Olympics. And unfortunately, gymnasts go through puberty after they stop training.
Yeah.
And her body had changed tremendously. And now she's sort of settled into her body. And she's really, really buff, which is nice.
Well, part of that was because she was on her comeback towards the Olympics. So she was in amazing shape, and she just retired a few months before this all came around again. So she was in pretty
You don't
good
need
shape.
to tell me I'm like the gymnastics obsessed
Oh,
everything.
wow.
Oh, yeah. Don't you worry.
I love it. I love it.
I belong to a gymnastics gossip board, so.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
believe it or not.
You belong with us.
I know. Any inside scoop from Shawn and Derek when you talk to him?
You know, Derek wasn't in the mood to talk the other night. So we just kind of let him be, and Shawn wasn't around. So I'm looking forward to you know, getting my claws on.
Yeah, I like that. And just a reminder, she is the youngest competitor of All Stars, so something to look out for. Their score was 22. I think we all agreed that they were underscored, but they were early in the night.
I think they're gonna kill it this season. I really do.
And then another strong competitor who was ousted early in her season, Sabrina Bryant. And she was there with Louis Van Amstel, whom I love.
Okay, love Louis. Louis is the bomb. I
Yes.
spoke to him. I have a lot to share with you there. Sabrina came off of Dancing with the Stars, Vegas, the show. She was one of the stars. I saw her perform. You know, I gotta say this. I don't know a lot about her history and whatnot, but Louis had said he is so appreciative of how humble she is and how grateful she really truly is for this opportunity, and you can see it and feel it when you talk to her and listen to him. And he said his biggest challenge with her is just keeping her in control, reining
needs
her
to be
in.
reined in.
Just that's it. He said everything else, it's amazing.
She gets so into it that she throws herself off her center and she loses her spotting and loses her footing. And I think
We saw that several times.
Falls
in the
out.
dance. Oh, boy.
Yeah, in the spins behind him where she's on her own, she went out of control.
That reminds me. He also said it was so loud in the ballroom they couldn't. And they were supposed to start on beat 1. Couldn't hear it at all. So they were going to say something. And there was a few other people that had this a similar issue.
That's got to
So-
be nerve-wracking on a live show, too, because your adrenaline's already going, and then you can't hear
Yeah.
where you are.
He said he was super appreciative of how they love, that the audience was totally into them, but they were
course.
like kind of panicking because they couldn't hear the music at all.
That is. And just reminders, Sabrina was from season 5, and she was the 13th All-Star voted in from the fans. So that's probably why she has
Right.
that appreciation of why she's there.
I think she'll do better this
Absolutely.
season because her main fan base is now old enough to watch TV alone. They're in college, and all those Cheetah Girl fans
all
are
grown
now
up.
they're grown up and they're driving and they're watching TV and voting on their AT&T phones. And stuff.
True, and I really think the fans appreciate someone that's appreciative.
Yeah.
You know, you can feel it.
Yeah. Her score 22.5, so just slightly ahead of Shawn and Derek, but really kind of strong scores to kick off the night.
I mean, you saw it in my face. Like, I mean, for that to get 22 and a half and for Shawn to only get 22 is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Especially after you hear the judges' comments, what they had to say about their routine, it's just absurd.
Yeah, true, because she lost her grip a few times.
Yeah.
She overdanced it. Yeah, you're right.
And they
You're
really
absolutely
had
right.
nothing bad to say about Shawn's performance, yet they gave her 22, and then one performance later, they threw out a higher score, which is just ridiculous.
I know. It's interesting. Interesting.
Sometimes those judges.
The politics of it all. I love it. All right, we move on to, I always say his name wrong. Helio Castronettis.
Yes.
Helio?
Helio?
All right, I'm going to get this right by the end of the season. Castronettis. And Chelsie Hightower, he was the season 5 winner. So we have 2 season 5 participants back to back doing the foxtrot. And we just watched this before we came on air, just to kind of get a little refresh. What were your thoughts on Helio? Helio.
You know, I love Chelsie. She's a little spitfire, and I know that she's really excited to have him as a partner, a winner, and because she's never won, right? It was okay for me. Nothing really that stood out, or
I think he needs to be careful. His performance, his facials can sometimes be over the top and not genuine. Like the smile is so big.
Like almost a little too cheesy.
Yeah, and the neck is so strained that the carriage isn't carefree.
Yep.
It's put on and too much. So I think he also is one of the men that I will continuously bring this up. They are stepping onto a sickled foot where the foot is turned in.
Horrible.
And that's
Yes, you'll see
very
'em.
frowned upon in the dance industry.
And we'll talk a lot about the sickled foot because there's a really great example if you want to go back and see the dance. We'll point one out coming up because it was, oh gosh.
It's true.
I know all of us, I think, have a dance background, so it's one of those things that you just go, it's so hard to watch. They did the foxtrot 21.5. I mean, I kind of just fell somewhere in the middle for me. That's kind of how I felt about Helio's performance.
For that to be right up there with Shawn, it's just like
Yeah, 0.5.
not so much.
5/10
Something
away is-
that's just not right.
I know.
It's
Yeah.
a little too close.
Hopefully next week will be better scoring.
And maybe we'll start seeing a little separation in the scores, and the bottom
Hope so.
will sink and the cream will rise to the top. We'll see. All right, and this one, here we go. Pamela Anderson and Tristan McManus. Okay, she came off of season 10. She did pretty well in season 10, so, but on Monday night, she did not do well at all. It was sloppy. It was, I wrote yikes. Yikes was the first word I wrote down.
I think the thing with her is that the one redeeming quality she has is her love of dance. She loves to dance. It doesn't matter, and you can tell in her performance, she doesn't care that her legs aren't straight and her toes aren't pointed and that her splits aren't complete. She just loves what she's doing. She's like these women in the Zumba classes that can't dance on the beat, but they're having a blast. And good on them. Like, that's more power to you.
She's going to Broadway, by the way.
Yeah, do we know what show she's going in?
I don't know.
She
I'll find
dropped
out.
it. She dropped it out there and then didn't really talk about it. Like maybe she wasn't supposed to reveal it.
I bet she's going into Chicago, the musical.
Totally. The Weislers, they're known for doing their
Yep.
stunt casting, and that totally makes sense.
Think, with Pam, I agree with you on all of that. She did not train for 4 full weeks. She was traveling abroad, doing other jobs or whatever. I'm not quite sure.
Maybe vacationing.
Could be a little bit of that too. And her partner could not travel with her. Usually partners will go, but I think it's usually within the country. And it's interesting that to me, when you're going into an all-star season and you have amazing athletes and amazing dancers and you want to do really well, I would think you would figure out, I need to train. Because she was swearing off sex and swearing off booze and all of those things, and for the competitive season, although she said she fell off the wagon. But if you're swearing
On the sex or the booze?
Yeah, right.
That's what I want to know.
If you're swearing all of that off, that sounds like you're taking it pretty seriously. But not training. I mean, there you go. There was her performance. It.
Does sex really affect your dance performance? That's No.
No.
Might
It's
for her.
absurd.
Wouldn't it make it?
Would for her.
Maybe.
We don't know.
Wouldn't,
Maybe.
I think it would make your dance sexier.
It might
if
take up
you're-
all her energy. She seems like
don't
quite
know.
a fox.
You know, the one thing I have to say, I mean, her score was a 17. She was right there at the bottom, which was it was the right score. She was deservingly being last place, but I almost feel like because she didn't train and rehearse, and so many people are taking this seriously, she took someone else's spot. Does anyone else feel
Right.
that? I mean,
Possibly.
Absolutely.
it's not fair.
I mean, yes.
Yeah. See, there you go. That's what
very
I
good
thought.
point.
Yes.
And I also think she's one of these who's in this all-star competition because she loves doing it, not because she wants to win.
Yeah.
There are a few other couples that I think are in that same boat, and I think they might be the first to go.
Yeah, and boy, but all right, 17 was the score. I agree. You know, she did say she loved sort of the art and the theater and the performance, so good for her. And hopefully,
She looked amazing, like physically gorgeous.
And she said she's
I
going to
don't-
keep
you know.
dancing, which
and
is
that's good.
awesome.
And we'll see her on Broadway, probably in Chicago.
Probably.
I think that's actually a good prediction. They'll probably have her play Roxy. So there we go. Before we move into the next set of dances, we just want to remind everyone that we do have iTunes. So if you guys are listening to the podcast, we so appreciate it. We would love for you to rate us and give us feedback on how you think you're doing. We'd love for you to give us 5 stars. Let me just throw that out there. I mean, let's be honest.
Come on.
But we also want to hear what you want to talk about throughout the season, maybe some guests, because we have some great guests coming up in the next few weeks that are actually on this season. So that'll be happening. But we can't do this and we can't improve and we can't give you all the things that you want without hearing from you. So make sure you comment, rate us on iTunes, because we sure appreciate all of your support. With that, let's move right into our next set of dances, because we move into Melissa Rycroft and Tony Dovolani and doing the foxtrot. Melissa's season originally was so interesting because she had 2 days to rehearse and then come on board to the season when everyone else had rehearsed 4 or 5 weeks, and she had done a great job. So she was a cheerleader. She has some dance background, but this was not the most successful dance of the night.
You want to go? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You know, here's the thing. Melissa is gorgeous. By the way, my favorite paired costumes of the night. Their
looked
outfits.
amazing.
They were my favorite. She's like the judges said, she has great lines. I don't know. There's some things missing. There's some like that a charisma like from the center. Do you know what I mean? Like that you ooze, like kind of like Emmitt oozes, which we'll get to later. It's that I'm missing that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure you have some other things to add to that about their performance. I know she wants this bad. Every interview she's giving, every time you have she has a camera on her, she's like, "I want it bad. I want it. I want it," and she really wants to beat Gilles and Shawn, you know, who beat her in her same season. She's extremely competitive, but she is very vocal about like, I want the whole thing and that's it. So watch out. And Tony, who everybody loves and knows, is fiercely competitive. I know he was very psyched to get somebody, you know, that could potentially help him win his first.
She has some nice extension and some nice lines,
Absolutely.
but I think what you're talking about, she doesn't have that sort of, you know, you can dance it technically, but you also have to have a little soul behind it. And,
Right.
And maybe
Yeah.
she's sort of missing that. She's like, I'm just performing it.
It's
And
almost
Yes.
like her performance is skimming along the surface, and
Yes.
it's great, and her facility is amazing, but there's not a lot of depth to it. You feel like it's coming like from there instead of like from there.
Yes.
You know, she doesn't articulate through her spine a lot when she dances. Like she'll raise her arm or she'll lift her leg, and it's beautiful and it's great, but it would be that extra amazingness if she used more of her body.
It's kind of like the little bit of what like Sabrina has in here. If it was in Melissa or what's coming out of Melissa,
Right.
it would be insane.
Absolutely.
And you see that a lot. You know, I grew up in the ballet world, and you see that a lot with people that are technicians
Right.
that can just like whip out like 15 pirouettes without even thinking about it. And then people that, you know, may not be able to whip out those 15 pirouettes, but gosh, they move you because it just comes from inside. So,
Yeah.
you know, you want a mix of that. If you can ever have that in a dancer, that's like the perfect dancer.
Also, the judges had commented that they needed to have closer body contact.
Yeah, they were separated quite a bit, weren't they?
Yeah, they danced out of hold a lot, and I think that was to show off her dance abilities, which but I think was enough at the very beginning. Her extension on the bar and her center split underneath the bar.
Definitely.
Beautiful.
Check.
Yeah.
That's get down the stairs and get in hold and show the dance.
Yeah, because with foxtrot, there should be some contact.
Absolutely.
And it felt a little bit almost too musical theater to me. I mean, I
Yeah.
felt like I paid tickets to see the Broadway show that
I do
Pamela
love that.
Anderson's starring in. I don't know.
I do love that song, and I would want to do that too.
Of course.
But yeah, I agree
Sweet
with
Charity
you.
is a great show.
Yeah.
All right, and they came away with a score with 21. So again, they kind of fell into the middle of the pack.
Tony was not happy with those scores.
Yeah, what did he say after he saw his score?
That they sucked, and he was not happy.
All right.
He loved the performance. Scores sucked. That's exactly what he said to me.
So they're going to come back with a vengeance next week.
Oh,
for
definitely.
sure.
Are you kidding? Yeah.
Good. All right. Karina Smirnoff, who I think is one of the most charismatic dancers to come out of. I love it. She's got a little bit of a temper. She's fiery. She's
So
awesome.
fun.
And Apollo Anton Ono, of course, the Olympic medalist in speed skating, doing the cha-cha-cha. Apollo, another great dancer, and he won with Julianne Hough years
Right.
ago. So what did we think of them?
Go. You take it.
I really love Apollo, and I think he's an amazing athlete and an amazing competitor. I just think his body type is a little unfortunate for a ballroom dancer. I mean,
Oh, explain what you mean by unfortunate. Let's throw it out there.
well, he spends his career in a squat, so he has giant legs and a giant butt, which
Don't you love it?
I mean, and it's just, I mean, it looks like he's wearing mom jeans in those cha-cha pants, and it just was so unfortunate. I feel so horrible saying this.
No, it's
And-
okay.
They're a gorgeous couple.
But I would tell him to his face if he were here right now.
I know you would.
It's not his fault. He's given a costume to wear, and he wore it with pizzazz. But there's just, again, he has that, it's like he's wearing a skate the whole time. He doesn't know how to work through his feet, and he often dances with a flat foot, sometimes a sickled foot.
That's got to be really hard for him. You got to think about it because he's got a heavy boot on all the time, and now he's wearing these really light dance shoes. And the weight distribution all
Yeah.
the things you're pointing out, that has got to be extraordinary for
Yeah,
him.
and not only that, but instead of having a 12-inch long metal blade under your wooden boot, where you can't articulate your foot at all, you're now in a suede-soled cha-cha heel that's 1.5 inches off the ground, which is higher than some heels that women can walk in.
It's so true.
Like, go to Vegas. There are some girls that can't even walk in 1.5-inch heels.
Carrie Ann did say this morning live on TV that she was very underwhelmed by Apollo's performance.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And we talked about this in terms of a lot of the athletes. They've got that competitive fire in them. A lot of them have a natural ability in dance just because they know how to move their bodies. They're comfortable in them. They have a basic language that maybe some of the actors don't necessarily. But he probably was the weakest of all the athletes that we saw over the entire Monday evening of dance.
I think he's gonna get a lot better next week.
I think he'd do way better if he shaved that thing off his chin.
What's up with a little soul patch?
It is.
We're over.
It's
We're
more
over.
of a patch. It's like a soul
My
cover.
Matt.
brother used to do that. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Not so good.
It's a style thing. we
It's like
don't
a comforter on his chin. It's
Brother's gonna
ridiculous.
kill me for saying it.
comforter, a rug. Poor Apollo. We've insulted his butt, his thighs, and now his soul patch.
No, I'm sorry. I love you, Apollo, but
Overall,
yeah.
they're a really cute couple.
Absolutely.
I think that
Boy.
we're gonna see
Absolutely. But turn
good
out those
things.
feet.
And 22, another 22. I mean,
Same
another.
score as Shawn and
Don't
Derek.
get me started.
Yeah, so I know. But that is the unfortunate part of going early in the night. So because
Yep.
they do build the scores, and yep, there you go. All right, Gilles Marini and Peta Murgatroyd. All right, the two of them together make a very striking couple. I love that sort of the dark and the light
Beautiful.
going on. They were doing the foxtrot. I wrote right away, handsome, just handsome. And Gilles came in second to Shawn during their season, so he has
Very close.
Yes, they were very close. They were both great, I thought, leading up to the finals in their season. So clearly, he's looking for a win here. He's looking for a little victory. What did we think? Like, how did he do during the foxtrot?
I think he was great. I love his port de bras. I love his carefree, easy, debonair way. He has great facial expressions. He has great head carriage and upper body carriage. And his arms, you can always tell with a guy, their port de bras, which means it's French for how you move your arms. And his port de bras is gorgeous. He's great hands. But again, the feet.
And this is what we were talking about. When we were talking about sickling earlier, I want you guys to go back and take a look at the dance if you don't know what we're talking about. And they do a really wonderful overhead shot, actually. Very Busby Berkeley, old school. I love that. And they showed him in a circle, and his foot is dragging along in the circle in that sickled position. You will see it. You can't miss it.
Yeah.
They did some fancy camera work with their dance.
Well, they know where to look. I mean, they do rehearsals.
And if you look even right off the beginning, he does this stag leap that's kind of in the dark, but kind of not. But if you look closely, his legs are fugly.
I think, and what I thought too, I thought maybe the judges got a little caught up in the overall package because they're so good looking. And from here up, you were saying, he has really nice carriage. So you're starting to look at the presentation here, but you start going like below the equator and you go, oh boy, we have some work to do.
And there's this old adage, especially for people that can't tap dance. They tell you to keep your face alive and they won't watch your feet. And I think that's what he's got going for him. From the waist up, he's spot on, perfect.
He's old Hollywood.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
he's nailing it.
Gorgeous couple. I interviewed Peta, and in person, stunning. I was like staring at her eyes, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're like a doll, living
Lost
doll.
in her eyes.
Amazing. And she was super sweet. I think they're a couple to watch for sure, though. I mean, they're gorgeous, and yes, we're picking apart little things and stuff, but in the overall picture of everybody, they're definitely a contender.
Definitely a contender. And they scored 24.
Yeah.
That's a pretty high score. That put him in second for the night overall.
By only 5/10.
Yep.
I'm excited to see what he's going to do in his other dances, what he brings to the table with.
Yeah, because I think a lot of the slower lyrical dances he's going to excel, but how he's going to do when we get into some of the more meaty, exciting dances as well. All right, the next one, and this, just given her family, this girl is controversial all on, her own.
Yeah.
But, I think she went through a really, really tough time when she was on her season 11. It's Bristol Palin, and she's got Mark Ballas. And so they're back. And, she was really lost when she was on originally. And I actually feel sorry for her. She was a kid. She's a single mom.
She probably never danced ever before.
It was the first time I think she had been living on her own. She said she was very lonely in Los Angeles. I actually felt very sorry for her. She's alone with a kid in Los Angeles.
Right.
And you're having a political family. You just are open to controversy and criticism and things like that. But she came back. She looked so fit. And I think that was the first thing I noticed. She looks good. And
She looks great.
And I don't think she's going to make it all the way to the end in this All-Star season, but I think she's going to walk away with maybe a confidence that she didn't necessarily have the first time around.
She's a new woman, no doubt. I mean, and she's only, 21 now still?
She's still young.
Like, I don't know about you guys, but how old was she the first time? 18, 19?
17, 18.
Either that age and even 21. I was a retard at that age. I mean,
I probably don't want to say that word.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Don't mean that in any offensive kind of way.
We don't. We're sorry.
I really
already.
don't. Yeah, I heard that. I'm sorry. I was, not really together.
Exactly. Well, we have an
How about
immaturity.
that?
Yeah.
We have an immaturity level at that
No,
age.
and she looks amazing. And she moved to Arizona, I think, or something, and that's where they've been training, flying back and forth. So it was probably to,
I was happy to see her complete a dance and not quit, not stop halfway through like she did previously.
Oh, yeah.
I think her costume looked great. She looked amazing.
She was in all white. She looked fantastic. And ladies, we don't like to wear white. She looked great.
She did.
She did.
No,
I was
she
really
does.
proud. I actually was really proud of her, and I just feel like it's been a long journey for her. I mean, she hasn't had it easy since she was a 16-year-old, where her mom's running for vice president to now. And I think like she's coming into her own. She's a young woman, so this is good.
I talked to Mark, and I really feel like he's kind of like a big brother to her, protective and having fun and trying to bring out the best in her. And
I think there was a
good.
reason they put them back together too. I think that there was a very clear reason. She needed the confidence to have the same partner that she knew. Throwing her with someone else, I don't think was going to work. Yeah.
And I think he made her look as best as she could.
yeah,
Instead
I agree.
of dancing around her, because then the person who can't dance feels like even more of a butthole.
Yep.
When someone amazing is
Is
dancing
he
around
allowed
them.
to say
I
that?
can say butthole.
You can say butthole.
I'm the bad one.
I was like, the other one
I'm
can
the
be
naughty
offensive
girl
today. I was like, oh, don't say that one. The one thing about her, she isn't a natural mover, not a natural dancer, and the top and bottom half don't always move together. So
Yeah.
that's going to be something she is going to have to work on, and we'll talk about that because her days are numbered if she keeps up in the bottom three. like
I
she
don't
did.
see her going very far.
I don't either in this season, but Carrie Ann Inaba did say she was most improved, and so that's nice.
Oh.
19.5 on the score. I think totally reasonable for where they are.
Right.
All right, we move into season 2 winner, Drew Lachey, back with a new partner this time around. Do you have a thing for Drew?
Do I have
I
a
don't
thing
know.
for
You,
Drew?
you had like a smile. Everyone had a
no.
little smile going on this side of the room. I was
I'm a
like,
fellow
no.
Cincinnati boy,
Yeah,
so I
we
want
got
him to
some
do
Ohio
well.
over here.
Yeah.
And they're from there, right?
Yes.
Kristyn?
Yes, I do know the Lachays, yes.
No, no, the fiery redhead. I love her.
She's great.
you know-
Anna's amazing.
She's like a drill sergeant.
I love how tough she is. I would
It's
love to dance with
amazing.
her.
He's like, if I just follow along and stay, yes, okay,
Yep.
yes. What do you want me to do? Okay.
And I love
Everything's
that
gonna be okay.
she was the runner-up in his season, so she was like, all right, here we go.
And she studied. I love how she studied, what he did, and
Right.
yeah, she's like, we're not messing around.
She's a
She did a
taskmaster.
really good job of walking that line. She said, I watched the dances he did with Cheryl, and I just had some things, and
She did.
But good.
It's amazing.
yeah.
I loved it.
I want to know what Cheryl had to say to her in the dressing room.
Well, for
Cat
next week,
fight.
write that down.
Yeah,
Write that down.
I'll make a note of it.
I will. I'll find out. I'll get the
I'm
insight
sure
on that.
there were words.
Drew, what do you think of Drew?
I was underwhelmed. I was disappointed. For someone that won, I think, wow. Not a good wow. Like an upside down mom.
Yeah, the judges, one thing they did say, they were like, we love your carriage, we love your lines. But I was like, to me, and this is what I wrote down just on my own, I said I could see him counting, I could see him thinking. I thought he was very stiff overall. And so it was one of those things where I know the judges were very complimentary, but I was kind of like, really?
I'm a little concerned for them because not just of the obvious reasons that you guys are talking about, but because of a fan base for him. It's been a long time. Not everybody knows who he is. Does that sound terrible to say? But I mean, I kind of, you know what I mean? It's it's been many years, right? Yep. So I'm a little concerned. I think that's partly why they were in the bottom 3.
Yep. It did, 98 degrees. It's been a whole generation really at this point.
Yeah.
So. Yep.
And he's not Nick.
He's not
Right.
Nick. That's true.
Sorry, little bro.
No, but it's always been that way. You know what I mean? He's always been
Absolutely.
the shadow of Nick. So, and this has been his thing. And I love that Nick is always there supporting him. It's cute. They're good. They're good siblings. It's awesome. 21.5 on their score. Again, there were a lot of like those 20.5 to 22s. We saw a lot of people in that range this week. But before we jump into the final 3, I just want to remind everyone that, we are live and you can always call in to talk with us. I'll give you the number. If you can write it down for next week, and we'll call and we'll chat and all that other good stuff because we're going to have great guests too. But it's 424-256-1729. That is our number to call in.
I'm sure my
live
mom
and
will
join
be
us.
calling in.
I can't wait. I expect that. I expect that. All right, let's dive into the final 3 dances of the night because I also want to make sure we have time to talk about the results show and some observations and things like that. So we have Kelly Monaco. Wow, season 1 winner, and she was there with Val. So one of the Chmerkovskiy brothers.
Yes.
One of 2. They were back to back tonight. Kelly Monaco. Okay, and if everyone remembers season 1 was over the summer. It was like this random concept.
6
that came
weeks
out,
only.
6 weeks only. Came out of the UK. She won, and then the audience said, "I don't think she won," and they had a dance off. Do you guys remember the dance off with John O'Hurley? And then he wound up getting it, so they kind of split the win, which was very strange.
Right. And who wants half a mirror ball trophy?
Nobody wants
It's like a Bosu ball on a stick.
Sophie's choice. So she did the cha-cha-cha. I will say she was much better than season 1, and I don't necessarily think that her dance ability has changed because she said she has not danced since then, but I do think it's because of her partner.
He's one of my favorite pros.
Yes. Absolutely. I think he's going to be on the show for years to come. He's
And let's
amazing.
say why. Why is he amazing?
Take it.
I think he pours all of his energy into his partner. He's not going to, other than this last dance, other than that one moment where he mugged into the camera, all of his energy was focused on his partner and sending it to her and really making her feel like the most beautiful, amazing dancer on earth. And I think it helped her rise to the next level.
He has a little crush on her. They did talk about a lot of their insane chemistry and whatnot, and yeah, you can tell he has a little bit of a thing for
we
her.
often have Dancing with the Stars romances. That is not foreign to this show.
For sure.
Are both of these 2 people single? I mean, are we going to start a little...
No, they are not. However, most people don't know that. So it will be interesting to see how that
Stay
unfolds.
tuned.
Yeah.
Wow.
The tabloids are going to go nuts.
TV exclusive.
Dun, dun.
I
They might have an agreement with their partner. You never know.
I do know.
It's called Hollywood.
I'm holding back from you all.
You write me a note later, okay?
Yes.
I personally dance with Val, and incredible dancer. I mean, he just oozes sexuality and like just the control, you know, that he has you.
I think he's a sexier dancer than Max, actually, and everyone always focuses on Max, but I do think Val has got a little bit more of that je ne sais quoi.
You guys might disagree with me, but he reminds me a little bit in a strange way of Derek. Watching them both live, they are amazing. Like,
I bet.
they ooze, you know, all of that charisma, and it's just you feel them.
Yeah, I think Val has a little bit more of that sexual charisma, though, than Derek.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Derek is like the most attractive version of the Grinch ever.
Hilarious.
I mean,
are you kidding
both
me?
him and Mia Michaels.
you.
I think it's like the Grinch in the family tree, and then Derek and Mia Michaels like split.
We need to do a split comparison
Do a
side by
split
side.
screen
Oh my
of
God.
a triple split screen of the Grinch and Mia Michaels and Derek. It's uncanny.
That's all I'm gonna see now.
Here's one thing I wanna add about Kelly, for her. She is doing 60 pages of memorization for General Hospital a day. Crazy, insane hours, and then dancing all night, you know, to prepare, and that takes a lot. I have to give her all the credit in the world.
Yeah.
That said, I'm not a huge fan of this couple. I do love Val, but I just don't feel anything from her whatsoever.
She's challenging. I mean, she's a challenging personality. We saw it in season 1. You saw a little bit in the rehearsal clips that you saw. You know, she was like, I haven't done the cha-cha-cha. You know what I mean? Like, she has a little bit of an edge and a little attitude. So
I agree.
yeah, I think it's documented. I don't think we're saying anything that's not public knowledge.
I teach a lot of master classes all over the world, and one thing I say in talkbacks all the time is you need to learn how you learn. And if she could figure out how she memorizes those 60 pages and apply that to her dancing, she will be unstoppable.
That is a really, love that. That's a great tip. That's a great
If
tip.
she can bridge that over to her dancing, it's
Kelly, we have
What
the
was their
secret to winning.
What was their score?
21.5. So she got the same as, I mean, I said a lot of people just kind of wound up smack dab in the middle.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the other brother, which is Max and Kirstie Alley. Season 2, Kirstie came in second place, and I will tell you that woman came so far to coming in second place. I didn't think there was any way she was going to win season 12, but to come in second, I thought was a big accomplishment for her. I really did, and she did the foxtrot. And what did you think?
I think she's one of these that's doing it for the love of it and not for the competition of it.
Yep.
And that shows. She's having a great time. She's doing the best she can. And I don't think she's training the hardest.
No, I think she was a little low energy, I thought.
Yeah.
I mean,
Could be tired, you know.
it happens.
Could be.
I mean, I'm sure Max is pushing her to the
I'm
nth
gonna
degree.
find out. I'll find out.
I'd love to know how much they trained of the available 4 weeks.
Okay. I will look into it.
Yeah, we've got a
But
list of notes to send you.
They are one of my favorite couples just because they're so fun. I mean, she could go far because she is so well liked and so fun. I'm not predicting that, but she's just awesome to watch. And I love Max
She has a
too.
huge fan base.
She does.
She is the middle America woman.
Yep. And she lost a lot of weight from last season, kind of kept it off, and she's sort of continuing on. So I think that's good. I was reading a little inside scoop that she's having her special meals delivered and everything. for
Well, it's her
set.
company, Organic Liaison.
Yep.
Little plug there for you, Kristyn. And it's helping
for
her
her.
stay energized, and you know, it's a lot of hours. It is a lot of hours dancing. It takes it out of you. So
She's keeping healthy, which is good. I'm sure Max sure appreciates that instead of cracking open a bag of potato chips, which we all like to do. Not that I ever do
I love that, but they genuinely have a huge love for each other. Really,
Yeah.
he says it. I mean, he's open about the fact that it's his favorite partner.
Yeah.
I
ever.
like that. 19 for the score. I think that was right on where it should have been. You know, she wasn't even in the middle of the pack in terms of like the 21.5s that we saw. To finish the night, again, as you said, you know, open with a bang, finish with a bang. We've got Emmitt Smith and Cheryl Burke, the season 3 champions. They are partnered together. This is going to be a hard couple to stop, I think, because he is such a natural mover. He's got a wonderful musicality. And again, he's an athlete, so he's got that competitive fire. What did you guys think?
They were great. I want to make a prediction that he's from that era of football player that took ballet in the off season to help him with his balance and coordination. I'm just going to put that out there. I want to know Emmitt. Send me a tweet, Karl Walden, and let me know.
I bet it's true. Because who was the one? Joe Namath. Joe Namath was also famous for that.
He was very graceful.
Light on their feet and quick.
Yep.
He has that something that you can't teach a dancer. You cannot teach it. It just comes from within. It's just, I mean, he was not the most technically perfect.
Absolutely.
But definitely.
You see it from inside.
Also, you know, there was some simplicity to their routine, which was great, I think. No?
Cheryl's a great choreographer. She knows what she's doing. She's really great.
Yep.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think she's brought out the best. I mean, I think she's probably won the most now of any. Has she won only twice or three times? She won with Drew
twice in 3 years, but hasn't won since. So she's hungry for that.
She is. She wants
third win.
It's time to come back, isn't it?
Yeah.
Time to come back. They ended with the highest score of the night, 24.5. So we've got about 10 minutes remaining. I want to make sure that we sort of dive into the results show now because. You know, the results show, it's a lot of fluff. It's a lot of filler. And I'm always like, just get to it. It's a little frustrating.
Drama.
You know, anything that we want to, initial thoughts about the results show, because let's get right to it. We had Drew Lachey, Bristol Palin, and Pamela Anderson in the bottom three. Okay, what did you think about the bottom three? Did they all deserve to be there? Anyone misplaced?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that it was pretty
America
right on.
got
The
it
only
right.
other couple that could have been in there was, instead of Drew, who was the other lower scoring one? Right at the bottom there. There was somebody.
Kirstie Alley, 19.
Yeah. But that makes sense because she's hugely popular.
Yeah, America's going to keep her up there for a
So
while.
it was right. It was accurate.
Yep. And then, so we'll just spoil it if you haven't seen it. Sorry, kids. But Pamela Anderson was sent home. You know what? It was the right choice. I don't think anyone had, got it wrong. She had the lowest score of the night. She rehearsed the least amount. We're going to see her on Broadway.
The first few weeks that we have of eliminations will be kind of not hugely surprised. Maybe I'll be taking that back soon. But you would think there's a couple couples that don't fit in with the rest of them.
Especially on an all-star season. Usually there's a few popular people that don't dance well, and they stay later and later, like when Kate Gosselin did it years ago. And I mean,
Poor Tony.
The poor thing couldn't move. But I mean, I do think that we're going to see the dancers that don't have all the technical ability. They're probably going to go first.
Sure.
Bristol will probably go. Drew. Well, I don't know what happened.
It could
to Drew.
be surprises. There's always surprises. Especially with
some
the way
people
people
improve.
vote.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I'm interested to see in the coming weeks what they do with less preparation time.
And that's a really good point. You start out with, 4 weeks of, nonstop rehearsal, and now you're, truncating all of it into, a week's time.
Right. Right.
That's got to be very stressful. Did any of the dancers or choreographers talk about that new time crunch?
A lot of them had mentioned that they, when I asked them what they were working on, they already kind of know that next week's routine.
That's what I was figuring.
They've been doing it. They've been working on it. So it's not like they were just given something new. So I think after that is when it will start to come where they haven't prepared.
Or if they have to do 2 dances in a week, that's when it
I
gets
wouldn't be
stressful.
surprised if they knew the first 3 weeks of dances coming into the first episode. So maybe they could work on 3 dances in 4 weeks.
Write that down too.
I don't think they do. I don't think they do.
Okay.
But I will confirm that.
All right.
I will confirm.
Other things in the show, they showed a lot of the behind the scenes of rehearsal, sort of what brought people back to the show. We had a nice little moment with someone worrying about Portuguese and Spanish and chicken
Hilarious.
Noodle moment. I mean, come on.
That was
Bless her heart.
amazing.
Chelsea
I love
Hightower,
Chelsea.
And
yeah.
I also
And
think
she's not that ditzy. I know her.
I know,
She's
and I
not.
think she was a victim of the editing room stopping it. And she even said, she's like, they stopped it too early. I think she may have been able to, but then when she was talking live, it seemed like she was digging herself further in that hole.
And then you're like,
Oh,
stop
so
now.
funny.
Yeah.
I've
She's
got
a
a good
sweetheart.
little Chelsea Hightower. She and I did an infomercial together. I was the host, and she was like the celebrity endorser for the Rhythm Rocker. It is still up there on YouTube, so you guys can
God.
take a look at it. It's a piece of equipment, and you just exercise like this.
Oh my gosh.
Sitting down. You don't have to stand up. It's like the laziest piece of exercise equipment ever.
Carl would have a lot to say
Really
about
buff
that.
intercostals. Like, let's work those intercostals
Hilarious.
out.
And then
you would know the name of the muscle
Yeah.
that it would reach.
It's the muscle over the ribs for those of you.
Our anatomy lesson.
Yeah.
Another really cute thing that I thought was the whole Derek Huff and Shawn Johnson, like, Shawn, I lost Shawn, because
that's
she's
hilarious.
so tiny. He's not that tall himself, though. That's what's so
No.
funny. She's
Right.
just so petite.
Gymnast.
It's
you
just
know.
his chance now to pass the buck and make fun of someone shorter than him.
She was like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
You could totally tell
But
in
he
her
promised
face.
to stop. He promised to stop.
He's not going to
So,
stop.
No.
He's that big brother.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we had the filler performance, Justin Bieber, who, we did talk about it. His performing and his dancing is actually getting better and better as he gets a little
I think
bit
he's a
older.
fantastic performer.
Yep.
Love him.
Even
Yeah.
if he lip synced his way through that performance, but whatever.
You
The
can sing
dancing.
live and dance at the same time. It's done on Broadway 8 times a week. People.
I love the whole group number, the dance number.
They do a great job with those.
Oh, they do. So it'd be so fun. You and I are like,
I
want to
know.
get up there?
I'll come anytime.
Yeah, and we usually do see those, which is nice. I think we're going to have one of the choreographers that does the group numbers coming in the next few weeks.
Yeah, we have a few of them.
Yeah,
I have
so
a few different
stay
ones.
tuned for that and coming up. But, overall impressions, the All-Stars, did everyone deserve to be here? Do we think that maybe some people are missing or...
That's a good question.
I know. I hadn't even thought about that.
I'm curious,
but I do want to say that a few of the dancers that I spoke with, that backstage, everybody's expecting it to be super competitive, and everybody's like, But they've been telling me that it just is very family orientated. They're all just happy to be back, and yes, there is fire, of course, but it's not like that super hardcore competitive. On the surface, I'm sure underneath, the ones that are really competitive, want to kill it, and they do. Especially
And I think
the
they
athletes,
realize that
but
it's a popularity contest. If I can plug, I'm currently working with a So You Think You Can Dance finalist, Melissa Sandvig. We're doing
very
Silence the Musical at the Hayworth Theater in LA. And she and I have had a few conversations about how you can only do what you can do on the dance floor. You have to do your best, and that's that. The rest is a popularity contest. So they just have to kind of leave it all on the dance floor and be okay with the results.
Yep.
Because they can't help it.
Yep, and you do see that. I just came off of the So You Think You Can Dance after show here at AfterBuzz TV. So I went through the whole long summer. That was the longest season ever of So You Think You Can Dance.
I think, of course, there's popularity that has a lot to do with it, but this season, more than anything else, because it's All Stars, I do really think that when we cut it in half, any of those people could take it. It's not just popularity. It's going to be who can kill it, because people are expecting them to be amazing.
And that's a great transition into predictions for this season. Dun dun. All right.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
Love it.
Predictions.
Predictions. I really want to do it. I want you guys to look all the way to the end of the season, because we are here on our very first episode. I want you to go and make your prediction now. And of course, it'll change week to week. But who do you think might win this whole thing? We'll start right with you, Karl.
I'm going to say Shawn Johnson.
All right, we got Shawn Johnson right here. How about you, Suri?
You stole my answer.
You can say the same
You can-
answer.
No, get two
I'm
votes?
kidding. I really do think that Shawn and Derek right now are my pick.
Shawn and Derek, your pick. Do I want to go out on a limb and pick somebody else? I think I do. I think Sabrina Bryant.
No, I totally disagree. Can I say that?
That you can totally disagree. That's totally fine. All right, you guys. We are going to be back here next week, so we hope that you do
Some great
join
guests.
us. Great guests. We're going to have such a fun season. I'm Kristyn Burtt. You can find me at Kristyn Burtt on Twitter and redcarpetcloset.tv. Karl, where can we find you?
I'm on Twitter at Karl Walden, Karl with a K, Warden.
And Suri Serano at Suri Serano, SuriSerano.
All right, you guys. Don't forget to join us next week here on AfterBuzz TV. Thanks for joining us.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.